Hey everyone, welcome to Arithmophobia No More for a lesson on subtraction and finding complements. Now normally when we go to subtract, this is how you were taught in school, you take a number like 24 and we're going to subtract 7 from it. And because the 7 is too large to go into the 4, we are taught to borrow. So we take 1 from the 2, and we'll bring down a 1, and we'll put 1 by the 4, and we will subtract 7 from 14, and we will bring the 1 down, and now we have 17. In essence, what we're actually doing, we have 10s and 1s, and we have 2 10s in the 10s column and 4 in the 1s column. What we're doing is bringing over a 10, and then we're subtracting like that. We're just regrouping. We're not actually borrowing it as if in, like I borrowed my neighbor's car and I'm going to return it later. We're just rearranging numbers inside of their place value. So instead of having 2 10s in the 10s column, we have 14 1s in the 1s column. And that makes it easy for us to subtract. Now, if you do Mortensen math, or if you had read Ben's supremely simple subtraction, this is what Ben would do. Instead of taking the 7, regrouping and putting 14 in the 1s column, Ben's going to have you go up here, take your 7 and subtract it from that 10, which will give you 3 on the top. And then we're going to bring that 3 down over by the 4, right? So basically what we're doing is we'll bring down a 7 and a 1. And so what he's doing is really just moving the 7 to the 10s column, and from there we subtract. So if you've seen supremely simple subtraction, you know Ben does something called making change. And in the Vedic system, we would call that all from 9 and the last from 10. It's pretty easy to subtract 4 from 100. We get 96, and you can see that we have 9 10s on the left and 6 1s on that very last column where the yellow block is on the right. And all we're doing is regrouping or redoing the 100, and we're going to put 9 of those, divide that 100 into 10 pieces. And we're going to put 9 of those 10s in the 10s column, and we're going to put 1 of those 10s in the 1s column, and make it easy, super easy to subtract. So we have all from 9 and the last from 10. So we get 96. Now we have 200, and we're going to take 54 from 200. So the all from 9 and the last from 10, we're going to take one of those 100s, regroup it, put 9 of those in the 10s column and 1 of those 10s in the 1s column, and we can see that we have 146. This is pretty easy to do mentally once you get the hang of it. And now we have 1,000. We're going to take away 536, and this time I haven't shown the borrowing marks, or at least what we call the borrowing marks. I would call them regrouping marks. And we can just do all from 9 and the last from 10. And we can, so we would have 900, a 9, 9, and a 10 at the top on the right. So the 6 and the 4 make 10, the 6 and the 3 make 9, and the 5 and the 4 make 9. 500 so 1,000 minus 536 is 464. Now, if you know your bonds to 10 or to 9 and 10, the number bonds to 9 and 10, this is super easy to do even for really small kids. Now I want to show you how we can combine both of these ideas. So when we have large numbers that can't be subtracted easily, instead of regrouping, we're going to take them from the next largest base. And then we're also going to do making change to turn subtraction, huge subtraction problems into something super easy. So what we have is 5,642, and we're going to subtract 975. So what we want to do is just separate those numbers out so we can think about it. So we're going to, instead of taking 975 from the 642 and regrouping, we're going to take the 975 out of the 5,000 and use making change to get our answer. And we know that will be 4,025. And we are going to bring down the 642, and instead of subtracting, now we're going to add those together. And if you are doing enough addition problems, you should be able to, and your kids should be able to do this in your heads. So we have 4,667. The next one we have here is 5,826, and we're going to take 2,756 from that number. Again, we're going to separate out the 5,000 from the 826, and we're just going to take the 2,756 from the 5,000. And we will get 2,244, and we're going to add to that 826, and we're going to end up, if we do that, at 3070. So moving into a bit bigger numbers here, we have 24,046, and we're going to take from that 7,953. So we're going to separate out again the 20,000 from the 4,486, and we're going to take the 7,953 from the 20,000. And we have 12,047 plus 4,486, and we're going to get 16,553. Now, if we want to make this a bit easier, and we don't want to separate these out, which I don't recommend, because what we ultimately want to do is to be able to take these numbers and subtract them in our heads. So what we're going to do on the left here is that I've taken the 2 and we've subtracted 1 from that, because we know that we're going to need 1 to make our making change. So we're going to have 1 less. And then when we subtract, we're going to ignore the 4,486, and we can easily do the 7 plus 2 equals 9, 9 plus 0 equals 9, 5 plus 4 equals 9, and 3 plus 7 equals 9. Now, when we go to add these together, to make sure that it's not confusing, we're going to look at the top numbers, and we're going to add those two together. We're going to ignore, now that we've subtracted, that 7,953. And we can add the 4,486 with the 12,047, and we get 16,553.